American civilization. Isthmus, a narrow strip of land that connects two larger land masses. North America has a north-south mountain range called the Rocky Mountains. South America has a mountain range called the Andes. The major river system of North America is the Mississippi. The Amazon and Paraná rivers are the major systems of South America. We have a variety of climates in America. In North America, we can find mild, dry, cold, and in South America, warm, rainy, and tropical zones. The Andes. Geography is high plateaus, higher peaks, hills, valleys, plains, and deserts. The climate is severe. In high places is freeze, and in the other places is rainfall. Animals is cattle, sheep, alpacas. Geography of Mexico, Central America, and Caribbean. In Mexico are Sierra Madre Occidental, Sierra Madre Oriental, and the Great Antilles in the Caribbean. Mesoamerica is a region that includes the central and southern parts of Mexico and much of Central America. Mesoamerica is most of the land in the northern part is highland, run near both the Pacific coast and the coast of Gulf of Mexico. Tropical lands hug the coast of Gulf of Mexico. There are areas of dense, steamy jungles, and they are found in Yucatan Peninsula. In the northern regions, there is much less rainfall. It is dry, and farmers produce corn, beans, and squash. The farmers practice slash and burn agriculture. The mountain climate zones. In the frozen land is livestock, llamas, and sheep. In the cold land, the crops is wheat, apples, potato, and barley. In the temperate land, the crops is corn, cotton, and coffee, and citrus. In the hot land, the crops banana, cacao, sugarcane, rice. The American civilizations, we can see that the red part is the Aztecs, the purple, the Mayan, the green part is the Olmec, and this one is Inca. Machu Picchu is found in South America. The Olmec is the earliest major Mesoamerican culture which flourished from 1200 to 400 BC. The Olmec lived along the Gulf Coast, that what is now southern Mexico, is the major culture to develop in Mesoamerica. Farming near rivers, fertile soil, reliable supply of wood became pottery or weavers, while others became priests or administrators. By 900 BC, Olmec built the great cities San Lorenzo and La Venta. By 400 BC, Olmec civilization disappeared. The reasons is unclear. They were the mother culture. A mother culture is a way of life that strongly influenced cultures like art, architecture, religion, and trade with Aztecs and Mayas. The Maya is a Mesoamerican civilization that reached its head in 250 and 900 AD. Consists in a group of Mesoamericans who spoke forms of Mayan languages. By around 1500 BC, small Mayan agriculture village began to appear, live in highlands and parts of Guatemala and Belize, Yucatan, and Peninsula of Mexico. Large population, development on city, specialized workers. The Mayan society are for ruling classes that are kings and their families, nobles that are educated, wealthy, scholars, warriors, merchants, the peasants that are the majority of the population, that were the farmers that grow corn, beans, squash, chili pepper, and the slaves that are the criminals. Mayan civilization reached its peak in the cities of Copan, Tikal, Palenque. Many cities also had large stone monuments called steles. They developed a complex grading of systems that used glyphs. Mayan mathematics were based on the number 20. The Mayans were one of the first peoples to use the zero. In the 800s, the Maya began to abandon their cities in the southern lowlands. As you can see, this is the 0, the 1, the 4, the 5, 11, 19, and 20. The Aztecs lived in the northwest desert of Mexico. Aztec legends say that they will find their new home where they saw an eagle perched on a cactus. In 1325, they found a place and they built the capital, Tenochtitlan. Aztecs adapt construction on chinampas, raising garden beds on the lake. The Aztecs produced two separate calendars by studying the sun, stars, and the planets. Aztecs produced codicen in a writing language made of glyphs. By the early 1500s, the Aztec Empire stretched from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean and from Valley of Mexico, that is Guatemala. 12 million people lived under Aztec rule. In 1502, the Emperor Montezuma came to power. In 1519, the Spaniards led by Hernán Cortés arrived in the Aztec Empire. Montezuma met with Hernán Cortés. Spaniards took him prisoner and later killed. The Spaniards used their superior weapons to conquer Tenochtitlan in 1521 and put an end to the Aztec Empire. This is an example of the chinampas. The Inca is a terrain of the Andes Mountains of what is now Peru, his capital, Cusco. In 1438, the ninth Inca ruler, Pachacuti, came to power. The Inca conquered all Peru and more. About 12 million people live in this empire. The geography of the Andes made life challenging for people of the empire, made farming difficult. They grew crops such as potato, corn, animals, alpaca, and llamas. Runners in Inca Empire are called chasquis that carried messages to the land of the empire. In a bitter civil war that began in 1527, a leader named Atahualpa defeated his brother. The war was just ending when Francisco Pizarro arrived on the South American coast in 1532. The Spanish also carried new diseases that were especially deadly to the Inca. Pizarro met with Atahualpa, took him prisoner, and later executed. The Spanish moved on Cusco. By 1535, the Spanish controlled most of the Incan lands. The last Inca ruler was defeated in 1572. This is the peoples of North America. We have the cultures of the Arctic, the subarctic, the northwest coast, the California, the Plateau, the Great Basin, Southwest, the Great Plains, the Northeast, and the Southeast. Southwest. The Hohokam culture arose along the Gila and the Salt Rivers in present-day Arizona. Developed irrigation system to feed the farm fields. Anasazi culture arose by AD 400s in the area where Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona meet, where hunter-gatherers and farmers began to build pueblos, and these villages were collections of stone or adobe. The Great Serpent Mound. These include the Adena and the Mississippis. Built by the Mississippian culture, Great Serpent Mound in the southern Ohio is about a quarter of a mile long. The Northwest. The Haida live on what Europeans call the Queen Charlotte Islands and Prince of Wales Island of the west coast of Canada. Plentiful fish, wild games, and edible plants fill construction rugged, beautiful decorated canoas. Haida canoes themselves were also highly prized and traded. The Haida practice a ceremony known as the Platouche. Platouche is a ceremony where gifts and property were given away to show host wealthy and status. The Great Plains is a region extends north from the present-day Texas and Mexico border into southern Canada. Most were farmers with settled villages. Others follow and hunted bison or buffalo on foot. Many plains societies practice the sun dance, a sacred ceremony that took place in early summer. The Northeast. The Iroquois Confederacy, roughly in the area of present-day New York State, was made up the Cayuga, the Mojac, the Oneida, the Onondaga, and the Seneca. The Confederacy's Grand Council was made of the legacy from the 5 tribes. The people called their 3 principal crops: the corn, the squash, and the beans. In the southeast, they grew most of the food they need, but they also hunt a wide variety of game, especially deer. The Cherokee is in the present days of Alabama to Virginia. The Cherokee divide in 7 clans. People had to marry outside of their own clan. After marriage, a man went to live with his wife's clan. The couple's children were considered to be part of the mother clan's family, identified that is based on the mother's family, rather than the father is known as matrilineal descendant. Lacrosse is the sport of lacrosse is still popular today, especially in the northeastern of the United States. Thank you for your attention to everybody.